Y'all didn't care. Y'all would come see my grandma, see me on the couch, and at times wouldn't even talk to me, wouldn't even be like, yo, how have you been? Are you okay? What's going on? None of that. It was kind of like, well, sucks for you. If you put yourself in this position, sucks for you. And now when I come around, they're like, oh, it's good to see you again. I fucking bet it is. I bet it is good to see me with the jewelry around my neck, with the money in my pockets, with the shoes on my feet. I bet it is good to see me after seeing me on the fucking couch and you not doing jack shit about it. I bet it is good to see that. I bet it is, isn't it?
Mad Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the gods hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the gods hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the gods hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the gods hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. He wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now. While the angels fly over my headstone.
We are back with another episode of the God's Hour podcast with your boy Bigg Belly back in the place to be. La Merca Superior Palace 81 Studios, live in effect, live and direct. Time and time again, once again, tell a friend, tell your girlfriend for me. We're back. Everybody, the weekend is over. The weekend. Time is just flying, bruh. Like, literally, I don't even know how time just keeps blazing by. It's really weird, but then it's kind of like I do so much. Podcasts, music, food reviews, Mommy Nalga reviews. Imagine if I did that. Nah, but like it's just crazy how time is just flying by and it's just another day, another dollar spent, another day gone. It's been 3 years since the pandemic. I think it was March like 17th or something like that. And it's been 3 years. I could remember where exactly I was even maybe a week or two before the pandemic even happened, like rumblings, like around the end of February. I remember, like, does anyone remember the Cardi B, the coronavirus? It's real, I'm telling you. I mean, everyone thought it was a fucking joke until Cardi B. Everyone thought it was a joke until it actually happened. I mean, I guess the coronavirus was around in China, Wuhan, or whatever it was. Whatever happened, Segun happened. No one really cared. No one ever really cares about what's going on outside until it actually happens and it's for real. You don't think diabetes is no real shit until they gotta amputate your leg off. You don't think karma's real until you get in a head-on collision because of whatever, right? So the pandemic has been 3 years, and I remember that was when I had got kicked out, and I was staying at my grandma's house. I stayed at my grandma for 9 months, and thinking about it now, like looking back at it, it did kind of feel like 9 months, but when I was living there from day to day, it felt like fucking 9 years. It felt like I was in solitary confinement over there. Because I didn't even have a room. I was sleeping on the couch. And a lot of my other family members could give a flying fuck about my situation. They didn't care. And it's sad to say that our family's really big. So nobody even really knows what's going on with anybody else. Because our family is so big. We literally have lineages in our family tree. We have about at least, 6 different last names: Chavez, Sanchez, Perez, Sosa. Like, that's literally off the top of my head. We have a lot more. Garcia. There's a whole lines of us. My cousin Mufasa, he's from the Garcia line. Me, I'm from the Perez line, and it all trickles down from there. So while I was kicked out and I was at my grandma's house, I thought shit couldn't get worse. You know, you think you're sleeping on a couch, your back is all fucked up, you're overweight, and you know, it's hard to get work. So I was literally just playing video games all day, every day, making music in between, making beats in between. I mean, it was really bad. I was really down, like bad. That's probably the worst it got for me, besides like my drug issues and stuff like that. It pretty much was rock bottom at my grandma's house. And then it all went up from there when I came home again. But while I was at my grandma's, I'm like, it can't get any worse than this. Like, how does it get any more worse than being at your grandma's house? I was barely like surviving, you know, and then my asshole uncles didn't make it any better. They were, there was no, as it is, my family, there's no coddling, there's no emotional, hey, like, you want to talk about it? It's the opposite. It's like, man, like, fuck whatever situation you're in. I could care less about what's going on in your life. Like, stay away from me, and as long as you don't mess with my inner circle, you know, whatever. It could, like, there was little to no help for me, especially with my family. That's why I stay away from my family. That's probably the biggest reason why I stay away from my family, is because while I was down, y'all didn't care. Y'all would come see my grandma, see me on the couch, and at times wouldn't even talk to me, wouldn't even be like, yo, how have you been? Are you okay? What's going on? None of that. It was kind of like, well, sucks for you. If you put yourself in this position, sucks for you. And now when I come around, they're like, oh, you know, it's good to see you again. I fucking bet it is. I bet it is good to see me with the jewelry around my neck, with the money in my pockets, with the shoes on my feet. I bet it is good to see me after seeing me on the fucking couch and you not doing jack shit about it. I bet it is good to see that. I bet it is, isn't it? So, while I'm thinking it can't get any worse, the coronavirus happens. And I'm like, great. We're like 20 people in this house. It was my grandma, my 3 uncles, my 2 cousins, and me. So we're 7 deep in the house. And at times my uncle's kids would be there. So you got to add another. We got Jules, Jess. Damn, I already forgot my cousins. Jules, Jess, Caitlin, and Janelle. So at times there would be 11 people or more on special occasions, like parties and stuff like that at my grandma's house. I'm like, literally, there's no way I'd be able to avoid this virus, because we didn't know what was going on with the virus. It was a new thing. They were just telling people to stay home. And wear a mask. That was literally like all we knew about it. We didn't know about the I mean, obviously wash your hands and stuff like that, but nobody was talking about really the rules, like, you know, ventilation and all that. I mean, I guess that was barely coming out as the time went, but it is wild to think about 3 years ago. I was at my grandma's, staying on my grandma's couch. I was like rock bottom. Oh, nothing was really going on. I wasn't doing any shows. Obviously, I was already in West Covina. School, I kind of dropped out. That was when I dropped out of college. College dropout. I didn't care. I learned everything. I felt I learned everything I thought I needed to at that time. So I stopped going to college. And it was like rock bottom, plus the coronavirus. Literally what got me going was like the Joe Rogan experience, watching rap battles, and the 85 South show. And then playing Borderlands 3. I think Borderlands 3 at the time they had just released, because it was new. I think Borderlands had released the end of 2019, and then during the coronavirus they had damn, the sun came out. Look at me, I look like an angel. Look at that. The light is shining on us all. But that is weird. Go back to being cloudy. That's so weird. There we go. All right, now it's shading up. That's so wild. That's God telling me I'm with you right there. Look at that. Oh, that's awesome. But that was literally what was getting me by. And I think for whatever reason, my dad was like, I guess it's time for you to come home. What I think I've spoken on this, but my cousin said some foul shit. My cousin, I never spoken on this, but fuck it, I'm gonna air it out since it all ties together. My cousin accused me of beating her, which I would never do, which never happened. But her and her friend, this isn't factual, but this is what I think happened. I was mad at my cousin and I left. And I know that her girlfriend or whatever, like, cause she's a lesbo, but I guess her friend had came to the house and I left. And all of a sudden my cousin's like, oh, Serbs beat me. And she had like all these like scratches. It looked like a cat beat her up. It didn't even look like a dude. Like, she didn't get no teeth knocked out. She didn't have a black eye. Like, literally she had scratches. I'm like, it looked like a cat. You got attacked by a Siamese cat because you didn't bring the catnip out or whatever it was. So I'm thinking her friend probably, like, oh, don't make it hurt too much. Literally the biggest bullshit. Another big reason why I don't stay around my family is because a lot of them have this narrative in their head that I'm like some sort of woman beater, which is completely untrue. If you even look at some of the things I'm into, you can see with me and understand that it's all peace and positivity and love. I really like violence and negative shit is like something I don't even lean on. It's something that's like a last resort type thing with me. So that's why I got kicked out. That's why I ended up at my grandparents' house. And then my lesbo cousin, she still comes around the house. It's like, if it was so traumatic, if I beat you, if you were that traumatized, would it like you would stay the fuck away like I did? Like, when I was traumatized from being falsely accused, I stayed away from everybody. I still do. Because to me, it's like, going through something so traumatic and y'all weren't even comforting to me, not even caring about what happened to me or what's happening, what's going on in my life, the day-to-day battles I even have to go through from before then. And then that's like the cherry on the ass sundae that I literally live with every day and gotta eat. But you still come around the house like it's all holly jolly bullshit. It's just like, wow, you would think that it's almost as if it was too good to be true. When they say it's too good to be true, that's just one of them things. It's like that. That's how I know. That's how y'all know it never happened, because okay, if someone beats you up somewhere in some place, like let's just say the swap meet, that PTSD, you wouldn't go to the swap meet because that's where you got beat up. But you still come around this place where supposedly you got beat up so bad and you didn't call the police or anything because you didn't want to seem like a snitch, even though you snitched already, not to the cops, but to everyone else. It was just this whole thing was going on while the pandemic was happening. While the pandemic was happening, I think my dad was just like, what, enough is enough. It's better if we have you at the house, because I actually contribute to the house. Maybe not monetarily, is that what they say when you do it with, maybe not financially, that's what I'm trying to say, but through other things, helping out, physically, or just doing other remedial tasks that just saves everybody time. I do that to this day, and I thank God that, I did get sick during the pandemic. The first go around, I didn't get sick like for the first year, but then the summer of last year, 2021, I got the Delta, and that shit hit me hard. I'm talking about that. I thought I was gonna die. I was literally on my bed over here. And you could see it too on the Instagram. I have like the towels over my head looking like Sabu. I thought I was going to die. I felt sick as a dog. And I couldn't believe that it was happening to me. Like, I got sick. And my mom, shout out to my mom. She would bring me like soups and sandwiches and stuff like that. And I was so sick, my stomach couldn't handle all of that. I was literally just eating soups and like one PB&J a day. And I hated it. I couldn't smell. I couldn't taste. And I think, I don't know if I cried, but I was hurting because I couldn't eat the foods I wanted to, like pizza, steak. I wanted to make my chicken tacos. I missed my chicken tacos, so I put like 2 masks on. I had gloves, and I just made myself chicken tacos. And oh, this is what it was. I wanted to start crying because I know how delicious my chicken tacos are, and I couldn't taste them. I couldn't smell them. So I was like, how, like, this is literally hell to want to eat something and know it's delicious, but you can't because all you taste is, you can't taste or smell. It's kind of like the Midas touch, where the guy, everything he touched turned to gold, like he couldn't eat, or whatever dumb story that was. That's kind of like how I felt, but I was just sick. And the second time I got sick was literally a few months ago during December. I don't think I lost my sense of smell or touch. I think I had like a really mild fever and a runny nose. I think that's what it was. Just like, I was congested, and I had like very, very mild, like not even really a fever, but it was a lot better than the first time. I mean, the second time I got it was a cakewalk compared to the first. I thought I was going to die the first time I got the coronavirus. To be real with y'all, I thought I was going to kick the bucket for sure. I was literally going to be like calling up my cousin, like, if I go, here's this, here's that. And that's that for me. It's just wild. The pandemic now has gotten to the point where people have kind of forgotten it. And people don't wear masks. People still take their dogs to the mall. I remember when they had just opened the malls up in June, and that's when I came home. I came home in June. So I got kicked out in September of 2019, and I came home June of 2020 when the pandemic, when we had just come out of lockdown. Like, I think lockdown was 2 weeks, but everywhere was shut down. At least like the brick and mortar places were shut down up until June, or at least the mall. So the mall, they had just opened it up. Like, I could swear if it wasn't that day, it was like the weekend before. They had just opened the mall. I went to the mall over here in Montclair. It's Montclair. And literally, it was me and one other person in the whole mall, besides the workers. I remember going to Journey. I got some white Filas that I probably have only worn like 4 times since then. I got some white Filas, and then these New Balances that I've probably only worn once. And I have a bad shoe addiction, but I remember just going there and coming to the mall and being like spooked out because the mall's packed. It's always packed. And especially it was a Friday then. There was nobody. It was a ghost town. I literally was like looking like around, looking behind my back, like, bro, it's like a ghost gonna come out. Woo! And fucking, It was spooky. It tripped me out. It was a trip, but I came home. And by that point, my parents did want me to come home. Like, it's not like they kicked me out and they were happy about it. Obviously, they kicked me out because that's what they felt that, I guess, in their minds needed to happen. But it was time for me to come home. So I remember my mom seeing me again, like maybe a month or two before, and like crying and hugging me and said she wanted me to come home. And I could have came home. I could have stayed that day, but it was just like, whatever. Like, I guess so my room didn't look like this before they kicked me out. My room was blue, and I don't know why they painted the room this color. To me, I don't really like it. It's like, okay, whatever, but it's just weird. It's like a goofy color. It's like a goofy gray. It's like somewhere between off-white and gray. Like, it's not off-white and it's not gray. It's somewhere like sandwiched in the middle. I personally like my sky blue walls I had before. And what else did they do? They put like a new bed in, which is cool. And then I had a dresser, like I had to buy this dresser from IKEA, but I had a brown dresser that was bigger and I held more clothes, but they threw it away because I had a bunch of like my old graffiti on it. And I was like, I told them, like, why did you throw my dresser away? Like, literally, why would you do that? It wasn't yours. Like, yeah, okay, you bought it, I get it, but you literally just burnt like $800 or whatever you spent on it, because I had that dresser for years. Years and years. The pandemic was wild, and just thinking about it now, just 3 years later, it just seems like the world isn't 100% back to normal, but it's probably like at least 81%, you know? And it's just wild. I was watching Big K versus A Ward. Big K 30'd A Ward. You could tell Big K like fine-tuned all his rounds. And the bar of the battle was, he told A Ward, the first time you shot a gun, you was with your big cousin. When the first time I shot a gun, I closed my eyes and hit something. That was wild. That's probably one of the best like gun bars I've ever heard ever. Big K is just phenomenal. I think the battle was really good. Like usually when battlers 30, and a 30 is like 3-0, is like 3-0, you know what I mean? Like unmistakably Big K beat A Ward, but it wasn't like, oh, A Ward, he just fucking, waved the white flag. A Ward was fighting, but it just wasn't enough for Big K. Big K demolished everything A Ward had, and then it was a great battle. I encourage everybody to go watch it on RBE. And they announced Big K versus Murda Mook at the end, which is crazy. It's like the legend, the mythical legend, Harlem legend, Murda Mook versus Big K, arguably one of the best battle rappers right now. I can't wait to see it. My predictions is this is going to be a real old school versus new school, like who is running the old school versus who runs the new school now. I definitely have Big K taking this battle. And it's in a small room too. That's the thing. I haven't really seen Murda Mook in a small room. I think Murda Mook was supposed to battle on URL in a small room, but if I'm not mistaken, all Murda Mook battles have been on a big stage. And this is gonna be a small room. So with Big K, Murda Mook, I haven't seen him in a small room. I don't think I've ever seen him in a small room. So I'm giving the edge to Big K. Big K 2-1. Murda Mook is not really a small room. Okay, so it's Big K. Murda Mook versus Serious Jones. That was in a small room. I think he did good there, but I feel like Murda Mook, he kind of fine-tuned his style to a big room, a big stage, a big audience versus Big K. It don't really matter. Big K's more lyrical, so it just ends up working more on a smaller stage. Like you could tell it doesn't really translate well to a bigger stage for Big K, but nevertheless, he's a good battle rapper. So I would say Big K 2-1 Murda Mook. Caffeine, I was trying to watch Miss Hustle versus Tay Rock, but it was like $25 to watch it. Before, Caffeine used to be free. It's not free anymore. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna miss out on this battle. Like, why would I pay for battles that were free before? That just doesn't make sense. I'd rather pay the URL app and get it later than I have to pay for battles. Like, I mean, that's just dumb. I'd rather pay for RBE battles where I know every battle is gonna be dope. You had Hollow versus Ill Will. That was a crazy battle. Big K versus A Ward. And there was one other battle. Was it what's his name? Jag versus somebody. Those are money-worthy battles. These other battles that they have on cards that they want you to pay for that are just, okay, well, it's up in the air if this will be a good battle. I don't want to pay for that. I want to pay for classic battles that I know. Like, I gotta make popcorn, order pizza, like make it that's what's fun about watching battle rap is it's an experience. I used to go and get Little Caesars, have my little table set up and just be like right there looking at the screen with the big speaker and just being in the moment. I just loved it. And now like battle rap is just, a lot of battles aren't good. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if like battlers are like not motivated or they're not prepared or they're too comfortable. A lot of battles aren't really that good, like to pay for, to watch, none of that. You just rather wait for them to drop on YouTube. I don't know. I was listening to Mach-Hommy at work and I don't know, I was getting emotional. My grandma, she had fell. and 1080p. I was bumping it at work, and I was like about to like start crying and shit. But Mach-Hommy, I had to watch my back. Nobody had my back. I had to watch my front. Nobody had my front. I had to watch my side too. That was really, I had to like check myself and be like, okay, like it's all good. Just relax, But Mach-Hommy really, I got a Mach-Hommy poster too. The Fader magazine. I want to get the Fader magazine and another wallpaper. So in case like it goes for 1,000, I could just sell that off real quick, or I don't know, who knows. But I definitely want another one, and it's pretty cheap too, like $10 or something like that. Like really, like, and it's a great quality. It's not like a real cheap, 120p or something image. Like it's a really good canvas. And it's just really great quality that they have for the poster. And shout out to Mach-Hommy, man. Really dope. He needs to go back to making records like that, like 1080p or stuff like I don't have feelings, sir. I keep what does he say? I keep my feelings to myself. I don't feel the hurt. That shit is dope. So there's this girl I like, and I invited her to a show. Hopefully she comes through, man. Like I'm really trying to get busy. I'm really trying to like take her out. And I've liked this girl for a while. I met her in high school, and I think we've always had feelings for each other, but it just never kind of like, it never translated. That's not a good. It just never worked out pretty much. And she does kind of have like some sort of like jealousy type trust issues. And I do too. But like, I remember we would like always walk with each other. And then one day there was this new girl in class. And I was just telling her something about math class. And I don't know. All I remember was I was smiling and I was just being friendly. You know what I mean? Like, and I think the girl that I was always with, she was looking at me like, are you fucking serious? And then she walked away. And as soon as I seen that, I told the new girl, I was like, oh, okay, like whatever, bye, end of the conversation. And I went over to her and I was like, hey, like, what's up? Like, what's going on? She didn't really have no answers for me. She just kind of, she just left me. And I got a missed call right now. I wonder from who. The American Red Cross. That is amazing. Why do these people call me? Like, bro, like what do you want to call me and be like, hey, sir, can you give us a pint of your blood? Like, what the hell? I'm gonna actually block these fools. Block these maricons, yo. Taking the time out of my podcast to block freaking imbeciles over here. So with the show, I invited her. She said she would love to see me perform. And I think I invited her one time to this show, but like she flaked on me. I'm kind of glad she flaked on me because that was when I was like drinking heavy and I was still smoking weed. And that whole night was a clusterfuck of stuff that wasn't like, it wasn't. So I think that show I invited her to, if I'm not mistaken, was in Riverside. It was in an empty pool. And to start off the night, I remember telling my cousin, like, yo, can you pay for me? Because I literally didn't have any money. He was like, all right, I got you. When we're going in, I told him, he goes in first. And they have the people there, so you could give them money for the entrance fee. And I told him, I'm like, and my cousin just like starts walking away, and I'm like, bro, like you told me, you got me, you were gonna pay for my. It was only $3, but he was like, damn fool, like you always do this to me, dog. And he made like a big scene, like, fool, what? And he was like, here, and he gave me the $3, like slapped it in my hand, and I was looking at him like, bro, you tripping right now? And he goes in, and like the people who were like at the entrance were just looking at me all weird. And I tell him, this fool's wilding. He literally told me he was going to pay for me, and like he just throws a tantrum. I'm like, idiot. And I just give him the money. I go in, And it was cool because it wasn't like all like hip hop rappers. It was, people were doing like poetry, freestyling. They had like the drum set. People were doing people had their band there with them, and it was a pretty cracking, pretty live party. I don't even know how. And Chava had set it up too. All the shows we did at that time, Chava set it up because I didn't know anybody. It was just Chava who had all the connections at the time. But it was like at somebody's like random backyard, and they had like an empty pool, and that's where everyone would perform at. And so everything was cool. It was like us and like 20 of like the homies from Rialto, primarily Rialto, and we're just all right there. And I remember when it was our time to go, I had told the DJ, I don't know what it was. I don't think everything was going well up until the point where we actually started performing. So while we're in the pool, I think this is happening while we were doing Da Vinci Cloaks. That's my part where I say, that's the song where I say, my style is bending physics, the metal twisting like a piston, giving suckers tests of superstition, while my metaphysics helping children could feel the chill in the air. You feel despair, I hold the title like Ric Flair. That was that song. But I think before even my verse started going, there was hella feedback. And at that time, I didn't know what feedback was, but looking back at it, somebody just didn't have their mic set up right, and they were probably moving stuff while we were performing, which they really shouldn't be doing anyway because it messes with the performance. And Chava, I'll never forget, while it's the whole thing's messing up, it's me, Chava, and I think my cousin Mufasa was there with us, if I'm not mistaken, because he performed. I want to say he performed with us. Maybe he performed Clouds off Picasso and Matisse. That was the whole reason why we did shows, was to promote our album. So Chava's like, yo, y'all DJs, y'all fucking up my set. What's going on? And I'm not a crowd. I can't read the crowd. I'm not a great crowd reader, but at that time, but I knew, I was like, okay, as soon as you say that, you just give the green light for the crowd, to give the power to the crowd. And that's what happened. The crowd, as soon as Chavez opened his mouth about like, yo, you know what I mean? What's going on? Messing my setup. The crowd was like, boo, boo. Like literally we're getting booed. The one and only time I've ever gotten booed on stage was literally not even my fault. But literally it's probably like 10 seconds of that, like it's just this weird energy, like of okay, like we either leave or something's gonna happen. And I remember one dude, he was like cursing at us, like, man, get the out of here, man, y'all, man, like what, like boo, like get the out of here and all that. He was getting like real wicked with it. But I remember like, yo, man, I stepped up and was like, yo, I don't need a beat, I don't need none of that. And I just started spitting kingpins. It's crazy because they're all booming, and I'm like, it's easy to forget you're successful, blessed, fully never settle. In the mental, place myself on a pedestal, rhymes pedal still from the metal built, mechanized infantry and wizardry, something like that. Weaponized infamy, I'm fit to be, something like that. But I was like spitting, and the crowd literally went from going like boo to like, hey, like that's what's up and all that. So I literally saved our performance just off me spitting. And as soon as I was done, like we got out of there, we got out of the pool. And I remember it was like they didn't have like, they have those steps where it gradually, like they didn't have that. So, and I was all fat. So I got up. And it looked all bad. Like I looked like just like some fat kid getting up, and like I damn near almost rolled over, like just so, because I was big as hell. Like it was all bad. So that guy who had been like talking all crazy and stuff, I remember he's like looking at me, and he sees me going with like all the homies, like we're like 20 deep, we're mob deep for real. And he was like, I remember like him just like like trying to like look away, like nothing, like if nothing happened, like Homer in the bushes. I'm like, yeah, bro, like what the hell? I'm over here, like we're over here trying to perform, and you're like just drunk or whatever. And I remember at the time, the homies came through, like Jesse, Bridget, and they brought this dude Juan Dico. I never met him in my life. That sounds like a Fairly Odd Parents named Juan Dico, but I remember meeting him for the first time. And Jesse was laughing because he could tell like on my face like what is this fool doing here? But that was cool. I don't think I've talked to them after that, but I mean it's all good. But the girl, so it goes back to the girl. I invited like this girl I invited her to that show, and she would have seen all of that. I'm glad she didn't see any of that. The last thing I want, the first impression of a girl I like to see my performance is me getting booed. Regardless if I save face or not, I just don't want, a girl I like to be a part of that. Versus me, I know the venue I'm gonna go at. I know the promoters. I know I actually gotta pick which song I'm gonna do. It actually reminds me, like I gotta practice already, but I actually know what the outcome is gonna be more or less. Like even if it messes up, I kind of know where to take it because I have the experience. Versus back then. It was even worse that I had I was performing with a Modelo in my hand. Don't drink, kids. Modelo uses all the clean water in Mexico for their crusty ass, nasty beer. So don't drink any of that stuff. I just threw myself off talking about that. So I don't drink anymore. I don't do that. I'm completely focused on my craft. And it's going to be a good show. I already feel it. So with this girl I like, I'm trying to be really serious with her, man. I don't want it to be like in and out type thing or a one night stand. I've never been that type of person with women. I always want to take my time and just kind of cherish and appreciate women as much as I can, because I know what it feels like to be taken advantage of in love and relationships and things of that nature. And I don't want to do that to another woman. If I'm going to mess with you, if I'm going to date you, I'm going to keep you. You know what I mean? Cheaper to keeper. Nah, that's not a good one. But it's just like, if I mess with women, I'm really going to mess with you for real. If you're a fine woman. Like this girl I like. And so that's that. And speaking of music, Logic has this trash Ice Cube cover that he came with. It was a good day, where it's like, and mama cooked the breakfast with no hog. Didn't even have to use my AK. Yeah, today was a good day. Trash. That was a trash Logic cover. I don't know if anyone's seen Mama cooked the breakfast with no hog. I'm like, okay. Literally ruined a West Coast classic. That's like if you take California Love and do a trash cover. I remember being at Smokefest 420 when Conway the Machine did his show in Crenshaw. There was this band from Santa Ana that did a cover of Big Papa. That was dope. Like they killed it. It wasn't like they were singing songy, like they rapped it, but it was like they did a whole nother beat to it and all this other, like basically what Logic did, but 9 times better. The Logic cover for Ice Cube was trash. I hope everybody that's an artist does better covers. Like what happened to the covers that people actually did justice? I'm trying to think of right now. And even like the covers like that are new now. What's the one with The Weeknd and 21 Savage where it's like, if you're playing me, keep it on the low. You like that. It's like, I get what they were trying to do, like trying to bring the old school back, but nah, that wasn't it. Like Charlemagne, nah, that's not. It's really not it. If we're being 100 about it, it's really not what we're trying to go for here. What else? What else do we got? So No Jumper is falling apart. They canceled. They pretty much fired Smack, T-Rel, AD, Duno, Lush One. And if I'm forgetting somebody, I'm forgetting somebody. But literally, the core street element of No Jumper is gone now. Besides, we have Gina Views and Almighty Suspect. It's just crazy to me. I was like, wow, bro. Like, House Phone and Blasey been gone, but I'm thinking like, this is wild. This is like almost like when this is literally when Joe Budden fired Rory and Mal. It was like, No Jumper's gonna be a whole new thing now, and I don't think I could rock with it. Like, I watch the Joe Budden podcast like every now and then, and I look at his podcast, and I'm like, it's not the same. I love like the Rory and Mal with Joe Budden. This is like when 2.5 Men, when they fired Charlie Sheen and they got Ashton Kutcher. It's like, it's not even the same show. Like, it's just not, you know. And they were trying to play it off like, oh, you know, like, this is Ashton Kutcher, but he's still Charlie Sheen's character. It's like, no, he's not. It's like a whole different person. It's a whole different thing. With No Jumper, I kind of only like their platform because of their interviews, like with Disaster, Triple X, Draco, even like the God Tier podcast, Sharp. I just got back into watching like all their stuff regularly, but now that they don't have AD, T-Rail and all that, it's like, what is there to watch? Like, this isn't No Jumper now. It's like, you build it up to something and then you break it down to like what it was before, and it's just not going to be what it is anymore. It's like if you go to see Chichen Itza and then the pyramid isn't there. It's like, why did I even come here? Like, what is there to even see anymore? So rest in peace to No Jumper. Joe Budden had a whole bunch of stuff to say about it, but it's like, Joe Budden, you were in the same boat too, bruh. So you can't really talk all this other crap about No Jumper when it was like, what happened to No Jumper is literally what happened to you before, you know. And Joe Budden and Nori have talked about, oh, when things go bad for people, I applaud and all this. It's like, what kind of attitude is that? You're literally happy about somebody else's downfall. Like, what is that really teaching people? Like, what sense does that make? When I see other people down, I don't kick people when they're down. If anything, I just leave them alone. You know, it's like, whatever, you know. But if you come at me, you come at me regardless. Like, if you're down and I kick you, but you was talking a whole bunch of stuff about me, like, that's on you, bro. But I'm not going to be like, oh, ha, like, he deserves or whatever, like, ha, like, he's down, so we're going to laugh at you. Like, that's not cool. That's corny. Like, no one ever got points for bullying easy targets. Like, pick on somebody your own or bigger size, and then we'll talk about it. But, you know, whatever. Joe Budden wasn't cool, you know, talking all this stuff about Adam, but rest in peace to No Jumper. That's all I got to say about that. Before we get out of here, man, Lance Reddick, formerly of The Wire and from the John Wick movies, he passed away, I believe, 2 or 3 days ago. This was like, wow, bro, I can't believe it. He was like, I think only 60 years old. He just turned 60 or like something like that. He had a heart attack. I loved him in The Wire, Lieutenant Daniels. He was a great actor. I feel like he didn't get the shine he should have in the John Wick movies, but I get what they were doing. He played more of like a, like a backseat to Keanu Reeves and like Halle Berry and all that stuff, Lawrence Fishburne, but I understand it. I just wish that they would have given him more, and hopefully with John Wick 4, they do more with his character if he's in the movie, but rest in peace to Lance Reddick, man. He was a really, really dope actor from The Wire. That's 2 actors from The Wire that I know of that are passed away now, him and Michael K. Williams. I want to say peace and blessings and prayers and positivity to go out to all the loved ones and family members of Lance Reddick. For the message of the day, I think I've said this before, love your loved ones. You know, tomorrow is not promised. Live life to the fullest. You know, it's you never know when it's your time to go, bro, and it's just, you got to make sure that you live every moment. You know, I've said this before. Moments are memories, and memories last forever. So just take the time out and make sure that every moment you have, you go all out and you live it to the fullest, bro. This is the God's Hour.
Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to fill the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. You wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now.
While the angels fly over my headstone.